So yesterday, I used the going into the unknown. And when you're in the unknown, like I say, that's where you're manifesting and creating. That's where spontaneous things are going on. You're attracting, you're bringing in things. But soon as you try to go into a certain thing, it just sort of shuts off. And spirituality, there's so many kinds of ways of going into the unknown, and everybody's, well, is it this, well, is it that, and they're always preventing. And so I like these books where it's giving you different ways to think about things. And for me, when I first got into spirituality, when I got into Edmonton after I left my community and moved to the city, I went into the unknown. Hey, Katie. And like I say, I got into a lot of things, like really, really lots of things. I got into Buddhism, I got into numerology, I got into astrology, I got into native spirituality. I mean, I was just doing anything and everything. I just was so hungry for knowledge. And I wanted to know so bad, so I just pushed myself into stuff, even how scary it seemed to be. I would just do it. And people would tell me all kinds of things, trying to create fears and things, and it just, something inside was so strong, I was so driven that I would just go into these unknowns. And anytime I had an experience, I got curious as to why I had this sensation. Why did I feel this way? A lot of different things would make me question why. And when we're little children, we are so curious, we're always going into the unknown. Because a little child about 4, 5, 6 years old, they start saying why. You watch them growing up and they get to this part, and constantly they will say why. They will ask you something. As soon as you answer, they're going to say why. And then you try to give them some more knowledge, and then they're going to say why. And they will go on doing this for long periods of time, because in their minds they're trying to sort and figure out the unknown. What makes people happy? Why do they react and do things the way they do? So this unknown is something that's deep inside all of us, but I think at some point we shut it off. And we get into certain experiences that stimulate us in different ways. But there's an energy in this unknown, there's an excitement, I don't know, it's like going into a dark cave, not having a light or anything, but if you go in there, you're going to find something. There's something there. And that challenge of allowing yourself to go in there and do that is so important. You're just driven, and people think you're crazy for going in these caves and these things. But we'll label it in spirituality. We'll label it in different kinds of ways, and then we'll hold ourselves back from exploring and going deeper. And what they were talking about here about the unknown and trying to help you to understand, and the future is unknown. When you're saying fifth dimension, nobody on this planet really can say what fifth dimension is until we're actually in it. And this is where, even when I talk to people about chakras and all kinds of stuff, they talk about things that they have no idea about. And it is an unknown. But soon something is unknown. What do? We create a fear. We create a block. We hold our breath. We think we're being tricked or deceived, or we're going to get hurt, or it's a lie, or whatever. So it's really important to understand that. And I'm curious about the unknown. I'm always curious about the unknown. That's what my granddad had raised me to use my mind that way. And because of the challenges and the things he saw in my life and everything else, he tried to help me to go into really, really deep things at a very early age. And this is where I attract people and I try to teach them. And you got to take a lot of different things and put it together. Yeah, Cindy is saying when she asked this 98-year-old woman what she thought the other side would be like. And she said, I don't know. I haven't been. So she knows there's something exciting. That's where we step out of our bodies and we just go to the other side. Some people are afraid and they just keep looping, whereas other people, they just can step there and back very easy, reincarnate and all kinds of things. But there's this unknown that we're all afraid of when we come to God. God is unknown. God is the greatest mystery. And I love saying the great mystery because it is the biggest unknown. When you practice Buddhism, you're going to find a concept of God in Buddhism. When you're Christian, you're going to find a concept of God in Christianity. When you're a native spiritualist, you're going to find God in native spirituality, and it's the unknown. And we have these different experiences, like doing drugs, doing mushrooms. There's an unknown when you take it until you've had the experience and come out of it. Whatever things you're doing, there is an unknown, and we can either make it bigger, expand it, or we can shut it off and be afraid of it. And a lot of us, we like walking alone. We like to be in the unknown. And sometimes we get afraid and we feel we need support or help from others. And that's where spiritual family, because you generate the right kind of energy, makes everybody feel safe. So I'm going to start reading where I left off yesterday. Step 3 is a sacred one. This is the experience of communion with your soul as a doorway to your God self. So the other two were step 1, a master is one who understands within his heart from a frequency of gratitude that the only duality that exists is that between being awake and continuing to live in an illusion. So that's the first one a master starts learning. So what is being awake and what is an illusion? Step 2 is to recognize the dismantling of beliefs in all that you think you know. To this point, the next step is indeed the leap of faith. And the third one I stopped in was step 3 is a sacred one. It is the experience of communion with your soul as a doorway to your God self. Your soul contains every emotion, every experience by you, and relates to all experiences in the now moment. In deconstructing belief systems that keep you asleep and in illusion, do not approach a practice lightly or impatiently. And this is where people do that. They do everything impatiently, or they're just not really that interested. Hey, man, make a list of the belief systems that limit you. These may be beliefs that others hold about you, or uncomfortable beliefs you hold about yourself. These may be beliefs that you hold about the world around you or your spiritual journey. These beliefs should be listed without any judgment as to their goodness or badness. Dig deep into the subtle belief systems, uncover the layers one by one. Hey, Tipson. Be ruthless yet compassionately honest, as nothing is hidden in the vibration of the fifth dimension. Carry this list with you and keep adding to it for as many days as is needed until you feel completion. You may not wish to look at the beliefs that you have so carefully wrapped around yourself for protection. Yet each of these beliefs hold as piece of your energy a portion of your God force that is needed for your complete awakening. And so the moment is now to begin reclaiming the truth of who you are, not intellectually, but energetically. Again, self-compassion is the energy needed here if you are to surrender unconditionally to each belief system, all of the embedded emotions, long enough to gather the wisdom from it. So you have to look at all these fears. Like I was telling Cindy in my life, I realized that I had all these fears from residential school, from all kinds of things, and I had to face my fears. And there were times where I would go into these fears and I would face them. And I keep peeling it away until I could figure out um, what was inside me that, because you avoid, you run away, you do all kinds of things. And so you want to clean that up. And they all wrap around beliefs. They all wrap around things like superstition, lots and lots of things that somewhere started in your childhood and took over and really you empowered it. And you got to take that energy back from the fear, and you got to find that belief. Why is that there? Again, self-compassion is the energy needed here if you are to surrender unconditionally to the belief system and all the embedded emotions long enough to gather the wisdom. Before you detach permanently from the belief, you must reclaim your energy from it, or a part of you will continue to be in separation from self. And it's really important to understand that. Hey, Sonny Bear. Your soul is indeed a doorway to the awakening of your true self, for it operates both in the conscious and separation of the divine. It is a mechanism that allows for the wholeness of the self and holds all that you deem positive and negative in perception and experience. It does so with neutrality and unconditional compassion. Your soul holds the experience and the emotions of all the choices you have made in this lifetime and every other incarnation of your evolution. It holds the understanding of the choice you made at the time that of each belief system was imprinted in the ego. The ego does not create patterns of beliefs from malice and judgment, but through the eons of separation, it has taken over the role of protector. The ego has been a safeguard of individualization for the planet and a human race that chose the experience. But now the time of unity conscious is at hand. You are called forth to heal all that holds you back. Now we suggest that you make another list of what you know in the depths of your heart to be true about yourself. Be equally as non-judgmental. Explore the difference between what you think you already know in your mind and the true knowingness that comes from oneness with your divine essence. To create this list, you must once again delve beneath the layers of limitation, move aside old teachings and paradigms of being. You must listen with the simplest and purest of motives. This list will not come in words from the mind as the first one did, but from the heart in a form of vibration. This vibration will grow stronger and clearer until you experience a tone of such unmistakable truth that you feel the totality of your being expanding. Only then may you add an item to this list, because only then will you truly know. And that's where energies, when you're healing, doing all kinds of stuff, there's a really strong energy or something. And some people get really close to it and then they get afraid and they shut it off and run away. This list is to be added to from this time onwards, as it will continue to evolve as you awaken. The energy waves that this list creates will travel through all time and space and dimensions that comprise your soul evolution. Most importantly, this list will carry the energy of you. You will begin to live in it in such integrity that no one in all creation can dispute its truth. It will become a blessed tool of your mastery. Your ego experience of negativity will come very much into the forefront of the practice. What is negativity but a perfect reflection of limited belief? And that's why I say when you get knowledge, it gets rid of fear. And you can go bigger and bigger and bigger. You can go anywhere and open up. And that's why I always say, please put as much knowledge, as much things in this holographic machine and then put it in here and try to learn how to connect your mind to your heart, where you can get all the truth. And that is the biggest hardest journey, but we try to go to the stars. We try to go here. We try to go there. Instead of the most simplest thing, close your eyes and go into your heart. And allow all these things to come up. Hey, Emma. What is negativity? Negativity but perfect reflection of limit belief. What is negativity but judgment that the ego has made as protection for itself? So again, self-compassion must become your loving companion who asks you in a gentle voice, is this the real truth of who I am? That's why I'm like, who are you? Who are you really? In this voice, you will create a third list of judgments that you should still hold about yourself. The next level of awakening holds the opportunity for much healing, allowing you to open and allow your open and innocent soul to guide you now. This third list is now not a burden. It is through the grace of this list that the knowingness gained here, the experience of oneness with self, is available instantaneously. In reality, giving to yourself this gift in truth and love can be an aesthetic experience. So you can start feeling these energies and being in them. The transformation and freedom that are manifest when judgments are healed can bring great acceleration to your journey of awakening to become a gift like no other. Have patience with these judgments and with all that is unresolved in your heart. You will come to love the process itself. You will see these judgments in the form of mirrors that present themselves to you through your judgments of the world outside. Work within the framework of compassion and allow the transmission of grace to envelop you. Allow then the transformation of judgment to unfold. How can you embody the purity of love in the physical way if you hold yourself in judgment of anything? How can you hold a sacred vision of yourself that is the seed of all creation if you judge? And that's where it's a trap. And people hang on to that. And it's like, oh, maybe I need to let go of this. Nothing interferes with ascension. If you really, really are truly doing that, you're going to spontaneously heal everything. You will come to love the process itself. You will see these judgments in forms of mirrors that present themselves to you through your judgments of the world outside. Work within the framework of compassion. Allow the transmission of grace to envelop you. Allow then the transformation of judgment to unfold. And that's the hardest thing for humans, to release judgment. And my granddad tried to teach me that as a little boy, and it was very, very confusing. Yeah, Dan Lucas. How can you embody the purity of love in the physical way if you hold yourself in judgment of anything? How can you hold a sacred vision of your true self that is the seed of all creation if you judge? Even if you judge the judgment, you move out of the vibration that is your truth. Even if the judgment is one that you view as positive, it still carries an energy that limits your experience. Without judgment, you will soon see within yourself a light that you wish the entire universe to shine with. And this is where you want your light to get brighter and brighter and brighter and everything. And people will feel it and know it. Cool, Dawn Ababa, you're clean now. It's good. Pat yourself. You did a good job. In Telos, we do not know all with our minds, but we allow each experience to be witnessed by the heart from the fresh perspectives, without judgment or expectation. We feel the truth of each experience as it unfolds from deeper place, as we stretch out to touch the energy that is all around us. We are also in transition just as you are, and we're evolving just as you are, and as the planet is. We have embodied the energies of trust through lifetimes of practice so that the experience we have of the energies of Source are continually deepening. We have learned through our patience and compassion work with ourselves and our children that there is an even deeper understanding and awareness that can be gained. We do not limit ourselves through the belief of the ego, and therefore we are surrounded by the infinity of Source at all times. In our evolution, we have learned much about the heart center and how it functions in physicality. We have learned much about the true functionality of the lower mind and how to work with it and not for it. We have learned in practical terms that the mind is a house of questions and the heart is the library of answers. Now that's a really, really powerful thing, isn't it? So have you ever thought of your mind that way or your heart that way? Because it should be really, really big. It's like, whoa. And I'm like, it's really important. I question everything. It's always just question after question after. And I've been that way since I was a very, very small boy. We have learned in practical terms the mind is a house of questions and the heart is the library of answers. And I say the heart can't lie. It knows everything. It's connected to God. It's the brain that will change it and make it do this and that because of the beliefs or the superstitions or the culture or the fear, whatever it is that's the illusion. And when you start realizing this, you're like, whoa, maybe I need to change this. Maybe I need to put this on pause for a little bit. And this is where you start realizing you can heal and transform anything. We have learned to love our questions and to cherish the answers that the heart recognizes with each question. And this is where we're constantly questioning. Things are always streaming in. Where are all these thoughts coming from? It's like when I was talking the other day where a prayer will come in and I'll just start praying it. And by the time I finish it, I'm just like, whoa, where did that come from? And I think about everything the prayer said and it was so deep and everything. And I'm like, where? Like, where did it come from to go in here for me to pray that? And sometimes these things go on and they're just magic. And I don't try to change or alter things. I try to allow things to flow and I try to be in that. I try to be in that unknown. That's the hollow bone. We have learned through the practice of non judgment to embrace all of the energies of self and to love and stay conscious of doubt and fear when they arise. So you have to really be conscious of that. Especially when you grow up as a child and you're always called an idiot or dumb or things. It's really, really hard to change that. You know, or having, say, your dad or your mom or your uncle come and hit you on the head, you know, and it just startles you. After a while, you make yourself really believe and think that you're dumb. Oh, that's really cool, Tracy Thompson. Like I say, this book has really lots of answers. If you really, really listen and want to work with it, it's going to help you change your life. And you have to do the work. We have learned that honesty is synonymous with non-judgment and that this honesty must begin with self and that the greatest source of wisdom resides within your heart, everybody's heart. We have integrated and become this learning because of our continuing practices of it. And like I say, if you want to do this, you can go more and more. Like I say, the biggest journey is from here to here. What is it, about 2 feet? From my head to my heart here, and then 2 feet back. So the longest journey since we were born was what, 4 feet? And that's the interdimension. That's the answer to everything. That's the truth. An old medicine man told me this. He says, you came into this world, but one day you're going to realize your hardest, longest journey was from your mind into your heart, listen to your heart, and then take it back into your mind. That's 4 feet. And people are trying to go to the moon. People are trying to go out into these stars. People are trying to astral travel into the other worlds and all kinds of places. I'm like, why can't we just go here and be at peace and happy and have all the answers? Because the heart is a library. It only knows truth. The brain, like I say, is a TV or a radio, and it will play all kinds of games. We have integrated and become this learning because of our continuing practice of it. We have worked with these practices each day until they have become an integral part of our conscious. We play with them each day in our conscious interactions with others. If we find ourselves expressing in thought or deed an attitude or a belief system rather than the true knowledge of our hearts, we immediately explore the opposite actions of our thoughts. And this is where women and girls, when they're growing up, especially in their early ages until they get about 25, 30, is in their hearts. They do things. Like their hormones, their bodies, they're just driven. They don't understand this. And they make all kinds of beliefs around it. You know, some want to be Cinderella, someone would be the wicked witch, some want to be this, some want to be that, some want to be mother, some want to be all kinds of whatever it is. And they're just drawn because they go in there and they're like, nobody understands me. And they're always emotional and crying because they're in the unknown, but they don't know what they're doing. And they go around people and they're just pulled into things. And people affect them and they create all these distorted beliefs. And like I say, we're not taught how to do things correctly. The Master brings to his path all lifetimes and soul experiences at the level of evolution on which you and the planet now find yourself. This encapsulation of experience and the wisdom you recognize from it happens instantly. All your lifetimes are attached to this present one, and you affect them all through these practices. It is now available to you as a resource for awakening all that is taking place in your life and the world around you. Even what you consider the illusion is the gift of your evolving awareness. And that's why I'm like, you have to go into Akashic Records. You have to look at all your lifetimes. You have to become all knowing. And there's so many things to heal. That's why it's like ongoing. And people are, oh, this earth is so mean and it's so this and so that. I'm like, you're just cleaning up crap from so many lifetimes. You are the ultimate mirror for your dimension. Just as we made the conscious choice to bring forth the complete mirror of ascension in your realm. In our society and ourselves, you must know now join in the responsible way with the ascension of your planet. So you have to, that's why I say, connect with Earth Mother. You have to work with her. You must want to awaken now to the divine love and the truth that you are. You must want to remove any obstacles or limitations of self that hinder you from bringing forth this truth in physical manifestation at this time. You must want in the depths of your heart to be part of the human mirror that you are creating for the levels beyond your comprehension. You represent the greatest collective understanding of the God force that the physical earth plane has ever known. And that's why we all got to move through these. We all got to do our part. We all have something to teach and help one another with. You are preparing your heart as a sacred ground where multitudes will soon walk. You must first receive your own homecoming, however, before you can show others the way to theirs. So that's why I say you got to heal. Once you figure out what you're healing, then you're going to attract people and you got to teach them. And once you help them to do that, then you're going to go through another process, and that's how it works. So whatever you're learning, it's really important for you to teach and help others. You are preparing your heart as a sacred ground where multitudes will soon walk. So that means that if you can do it, others can do it. Like if I can do what I've done in my life, all of you can do the same thing. If Jesus could do what he did, all of us can do that. If Buddha did what he did, then all of us can do that. And that's where more and more people are going to go into their hearts. They're going to stop going all over doing all kinds of things. You must first receive your own homecoming, however, before you can show others the way to theirs. You must first awaken to your own truth and step back through the layers of self-judgment and separation. Claim now the parts of yourself that have been locked away from the pure vibration of love and trust. Every evolutionary choice on the planet has to do with self. The mind cannot comprehend these changes, but the heart can. And that's true. The mind can't do a lot of things. It's a chemistry factory. It makes you feel. And that's why a lot of us are emotional garbage dumps, because we let this control us. Who you are as who you recognize yourself to be will change exponentially, and with the grace and the power that is unprecedented when you recognize those truths. These new perspectives will then light up the strands of your DNA that have been dormant, waiting for this time. Every strand of human DNA is designed to evolve the physical body very rapidly based on the shifts in consciousness. So if you're really shifting into these, you can heal and change and transform. And like I say, there's things inside you that are dormant. And if you're really bringing these things and doing the right things, you're going to activate them. It's not outside you. It's in here. This spacesuit, this body, this sacred temple that should be. We're going to wake everything up. Every strand of human DNA is designed to evolve the physical body very rapidly based on the shifts in consciousness. This is why the transmission of energy to the planet are intensified daily. Your immune system and your organs are learning to refute any vibration or consciousness that does not recognize the truth of who you are. You are able in this moment, just as we are, to create yourself disease-free. Like you can literally wipe out anything in your body, but only if your consciousness is aligned with this freedom. You are able in this moment, and this is where a lot of people believe they got to be sick. A lot of people believe they got to age. A lot of people got to believe they got to have somebody around to take care of them. If you want somebody around you to take care of you, then you're going to become an invalid. You're going to become sick. All kinds of things are going to happen to you. You got to get rid of those beliefs. And you got to change that inside yourself. You are able in this moment to interact with the multi-dimensions that are the matrix of your universe, but only if you are awake to your own energy matrix. We speak to all of you now who are struggling with levels of fatigue that seem at odds with this truth. And that's where in the Keys of Enoch, it revealed really, really lots of truths, but people are saying it isn't. And it talks about all kinds of dimensions and realities and that, and people won't accept it. Just like these books I'm reading, people won't accept this reality. They want to stay prisoners. Some people are creating arthritis. Some people are creating, all kinds of things. And they want to be sick so they can go to a doctor. They want to be sick so somebody can, oh, you poor thing. And it's like we're here to be 100,000 years old, the perfect everything. We can heal and do every last thing. This fatigue is born of the body, although the body will learn to mirror if it is experienced long enough. This fatigue is a depletion of the source energy that arises from non-alignment with self. Living your daily existence outside of frequencies of love and trust, compassion and gratitude and grace is exhausting you. Choosing a daily spiritual practice that will dissolve the limiting beliefs and judgments that preclude you from this divine energy will not further reduce your vital physical energy. This choice will instead enliven you. His choice will realign your system as if realigning the pipes of your kitchen sink so that the energy you want flows easily again. And somewhere we stepped out of that as children, all that joy, happiness, where we just had so much energy. And we go into practices and we find this, and then we come out of it. And it's like going in and out. It's like we're yo-yos. And depending on who we're around in that, and that's why everybody's into yoga, trying to force this, trying to bliss out and stuff. I'm like, it should be just something that's normal all the time. Step 4 of this practice is threefold. Each morning upon rising, take some time in solitude to contemplate your state of being, honestly and without judgment. Ask your guides and support teams, such as us, and your own higher self to release old beliefs and limitations that no longer serve you. Ask the universe to provide you with a new perspective each morning and allow yourself to be in a state of unknowing. And this is where I say you got to be in the unknowing, always. With the mind and knowing with the heart. So this has got to be unknowing because this one is a library that has all the knowledge. And if you're really, really practicing and doing it right, it's going to change stuff. Ask the universe to provide you with an easy and graceful mirrors where needed to fully awaken your consciousness. And ask that throughout the day, your physical energy will grow in equal portions to the conscious work that you are doing with yourself. So this is all, like I say, this is where you're doing all that work. Throughout the day, work regularly with the energy of love, trust, faith, compassion, grace, and gratitude. And you got to call those things in because these things are, like I say, they're intelligent. Call into yourself, into your physical body, into your cells and your DNA, the purest vibration of these energies. You are building an energy signature in your body. You are overriding, in effect, the old frequencies and beliefs that have limited you with the full potential of who you really truly are. And this is where we're rewriting everything. It's like I've done lots of things. I've rewritten, changed all kinds of different things throughout my life. And I'm putting the things in here and I would practice it until it changed. And I've done a lot of things like Rachel is doing stuff and it's shifting and changing all kinds of things. She shared that this morning with Cindy. And I'm like, wow, she's doing the work. And she's already becoming really aware of so many things. And some people are just listening to me. They've been listening to me 3 years and nothing is going on because they don't want to do the work. They just want somebody to blink. Be aware as you go through your day of vibrations generated by each thought, word, and deed. Learn to recognize that which expands your energy and that which collapses it. Each evening, recognize and embrace in profound honor all that you have given yourself that day. And that's where you got to be thankful. Even at the end of the day, even if it was a challenging day and everything you didn't understand it, you still got to be thankful. Because you gave that to yourself. You were meant to learn things. You attracted all kinds of stuff throughout the day to help you teach or help you see or heal past life karma or change things or become more conscious and aware. Recognize that in giving to self, you have indeed given to all of creation. Then state the intention that while you sleep, you will continue to integrate through the heart all the new wisdom recognized that day. Ask the cells of your physical heart and the strands of your physical DNA to expand to your new vibration, and that this evolution take place from all times and spaces and dimensions. So that's where you're bringing everything back in. In this way, you will replace old patterns and imprints that no longer represent the truth of who you are. Because you woke up today, you're not yesterday, you're not anything that was the past. You're brand new today. But we wake up and we try to look at ourselves from the past. And we might have a memory or something and we hold ourselves stuck there. As I go, wow, I'm brand new today. I got up. I can change. I can have all kinds of new things. But recognizing and honoring that. Ask the cells of your physical heart and the strands of your physical DNA to expand to your new vibration, and that this evolution take place for all time and space and dimension. In this way, you will replace old patterns and imprints that no longer represent the truth of who you are. Who you are will change daily, and your new frequency and communication with all of those around you will be felt throughout this universe and all others, back to the great central sun and the creator energy itself. We ask you with compassion to recognize that using these practices does not mean forcing yourself into another consciousness. Practice means allowing yourself to open to the limitless potential that already exists in each of you. So you already carry that. But you got to figure it out and be in the unknown to discover all of it. These exercises are not meant to be done sequentially, but simultaneously. After you have given 1 day of practice to each individual practice, practice them all in union throughout the ongoing day. Show appreciation to yourself for the work being done. Cherish your awakening truth and embrace the true you and the new world that surrounds you. In our next gathering, we will share with you the second level of awakening, and we engender in Telos. The human heart holds much more love than it can ever disperse. It encompasses the unlimited potential of divine. Imagine the changes that will take place in your world when each of your hearts is engaged without limitation in a loving practice of embracing all that surrounds you. Union consciousness can only be embedded in the fifth dimension vibration by heart, who with one another, and hearts can only love one another when they love themselves first. And you always got to first start really loving yourself. It is really, really important. Stop trying to make everybody love you. That's a really, really silly illusion. Watch little kids. Very, very selfish. They really love themselves. And like I say, they're very selfish, and they will say that. And they will argue with you because they totally love themselves till something shifts. So, it encompasses the unlimited potential of the divine. Imagine changes that will take place in your world when each of your hearts is engaged without limitation in the loving practice of embracing all that surrounds you. Union consciousness can only be embodied in the fifth dimension vibration by hearts who love one another, and hearts can only love one another when they love themselves first. That's why you gotta, like I say, really, really want to love yourself. And I love watching kids who really love themselves and they're very selfish. Everything is theirs. It's mine, mine, mine. And they don't care. You can argue with them. And they're amazing, like the things they do. And if you could really come down to that level and really, really connect with that. It's like when a child knows you're really sick or you're hurting or something's going on, they'll just come to you and they'll just hug you and hold you, and they will change all your energy because they will open their heart and they will just allow you to receive the healing. And they're just so open to so many magical things, but sometimes we close these things off and we don't allow ourselves to see or feel. And that's where I think mothers sometimes, these things are going on, but they're so busy with so many other things that they don't recognize what is there right there with them. Right on. Yeah, buy something like that and do a wrap around that little Mike and Funny Bone. You can say some of the stuff he guys is really, really amazing. I'm glad when I see you guys join. This is why we spend so much time and we share so much energy with you today. As you do your work with the lower mind and ego, you become more spiritually alive. Only in the world where you can, by conscious design, allow every thought, word, and deed to manifest the love, trust, grace, faith, compassion, and gratitude that resides unconditionally within you, will you inherit the fifth dimension. And this is really important to understand. Like, people want to talk about the fifth dimension, and like I say, here's 3D, the old 3D, and here's the unknown in the fifth dimension. And if you're really understanding everything I'm reading and trying to share with you in this, you're going to start discovering, and you're going to start bringing in an energy that's going to get you here. So when this earth, like when the natives, all their prophecies and knowledge and all the other cultures, we move through this big shift, you're going to be standing in the fifth dimension, and this old stuff will be gone. But you got to cleanse and purify all your lifetimes. You got to become the master of this. Like I say, this is the one for thinking and questioning. This is the library you go in. You go into your heart, where all the knowledge and the love and the truth from God is inside here. And that's the biggest journey. From here into your heart, that's about 2 feet. And then from your heart back to your mind. And if you were taught this as a child, if you had the right teacher, and this is where the medicine men, the healers, the shamans, they close their eyes and they question in their minds, and then they go in their heart. All the answers, everything comes up. Then they go back in their mind, and then they share that and they work with that with people. And this is how it really works. But people want to astral travel out into the universe and all kinds, or other parts of the world and things. I'm like, astral travel into your heart. Allow it to open and give you more and more answers, and love yourself and open up all these spaces. Only in a world where you can, by conscious design, allow every thought, word, deed to manifest in love, trust, grace, compassion, and gratitude that resides unconditionally within you, will you inherit the fifth dimension. It says, we wait here patiently for you. It is your time now to shine forth. And it says, practice of the evolving soul. So I'm going to read these practices. And it's just about my break time. I'll refresh my tea and things, and Cindy can come and talk. Then we'll go into chapter 2. It's the Heart of Lemuria, so it's going to talk about stuff around that. I want to see how long this chapter is, because I might have to try and power through it. Some of these chapters are really, really long. Yeah, it's going to be about 20 pages. So in an hour, I'm going to try to go through 20 pages, and I'll see what I can teach and stop in places. So practicing of the evolving soul. Awakened masters of the energy of love, trust, faith, compassion, grace, and gratitude. Like, write these words down. Love, trust, faith, compassion, grace, and gratitude. Ask for these things to come inside you, into your heart, into your mind, into your energetics. These exercises are not meant to be done sequentially, but simultaneously. After you have given 1 day of practice to each individual practice, practice them all in union throughout your ongoing day. So the first step, learn to question yourself. And that's what I had to learn throughout life, is to question myself. Let go of all you think you know about yourself. Speak the question that springs from the deepest pools of your heart. Listen with the part of you that is awakened enough now to hear the answer. So somewhere inside you're going to hear and know the answer. 2, recognize and dismantle your belief system. Be willing to strip away all the accumulated layers of illusions that hide you from the real you. And that's why I'm like, who are you? If you've been all around this planet for millions of years, who are you? Like, what have you mastered? What have you done? Like, who's the real you? Compassionately allow all of the other possibilities of creation that your human mind has not yet awakened to. That's why I like exploring different kinds of belief systems. Like I said, when I sit in a church and I connect and I open up and I see all these amazing things. When I'm in Buddhism and I go really, really deep in the chants and the meditations, and I open up and I see all kinds of magical things. when I'm in the sweat lodge or I'm doing Sundance or something and I go deep in and the universe takes me somewhere and reveals all kinds of magical things. I go deep, deep, deep into these things and I search the unknown. That's why I search other practices, trying to understand how they all come together and how they all originated with the Creator. Every culture was given a doorway and a practice. And if you can go into these places and really sit with the right people, like when I was in the Buddhist temple at one time, and I was sitting with Kusho, he's a teacher from Tibet. And I was in there and he wanted to do this one chant. He says, today we're going to meditate on this. And he told us his story, and then we did all the chants. And then he took the singing bowl and he says, okay, I'm going to do that. And you all go deep inside and you question what we did. And he said, see what answer you're going to get. And so I went deep down inside, and all of a sudden I was in the universe, and I was at this big giant mountain, and it was surrounded by all these golden Buddhas, and it was going and going and going. And this voice was telling me things and showing me things, and I was just really, really deep. And then I heard him doing the bowl, and then I came back, and I was like, whoa. And I says, I got to sit and talk with you. And I sat there and I showed, and he says, can I see? I said, yeah. He put his hand on my back, and his eyeballs flipped backwards. Like his eyes, like I'm staring at you, but it's like, when, like just went totally white when he put his hand on my back. And he just sat there vibrating with his hand on my back. And as I was talking, he could see everything that I went through in that meditation. And then me and him talked about it afterwards. And that's where I love going into all kinds of cultural beliefs. I love going to temples. I love going places because I never know what the Creator is going to allow me to see. And it's really, really magical, and you can't judge it. Like I say, there's many, many heavens. But you got to stop fearing all these other kinds of things. And it's really important to learn that. Compassionately allow all the other possibilities of creation that your human mind has not yet awakened to. Like, stop fearing everything. Like I say, look for the light. Ask for the light. Ask for the knowledge. Go into your heart. That's the library of creation. Make that journey from here, 2 feet down to here, and then 2 feet back to here. That's what it's all about. Develop faith in yourself that you are a master who is capable of co-creating with the universe all that is possible. And a long time ago, like even the Sioux, they have a word, they say Wakan. And if you're Wakan, you're a holy man. And in Buddhism, when they say a guy's a Buddhist master, they don't touch him. They don't go near him unless he gives permission. And he's always surrounded by a lot of Buddhist monks that protect him. Because if he touches you, his energy will transfer to you, and he will absorb all your negative energies. So you'll see these old Buddhists, like even you watch the Dalai Lama and that, he's surrounded by all kinds of people. Nobody can go near him and touch him. And the Sioux knew this. All the native tribes knew this. They were holy men. They were like Jesus. They were like these Buddhist monks. And they're really respected and honored. They weren't dishonored. And there are people on this planet, and people want to suck the life out of everybody. And like I say, there's people that have really, really lots of energy. And they're like in the Bible when Jesus was carrying that cross, and that woman went and touched him, and she absorbed his energy. And he was like, "Who did that? Who touched me?" Because his energy drained. And he's standing there with the cross, and he's looking around. And he doesn't realize this woman had crawled. She was on her knees down, and she reached out and she grabbed his robe. And she wanted to heal. She knew if she touched him, it was going to do something. And this is where the Buddhists know. That's why a lot of the Orientals, they bow to one another. They don't touch. They don't hug. Because there's a big transference of energy. Natives, they had a lot of kinds of ways and cultures around all kinds of things, and they knew this also. So, like I say, when you get the right kinds of knowledge in here and in here, it's magic. And these heavens and these doorways and everything that you can go into are mind blowing. And I've had some of the most beautiful experiences. I never asked for them. I just knew I had to go to this ceremony, or somebody's like, you got to come with me. And I'm like, okay, I feel this energy. I'm excited and curious to go into the unknown. And I go there and just, it's like 4th of July, fireworks going off. And I'm just like, whoa. And I come back in my body and I'm like, that was amazing. But people are forcing. Oh, this person this. Oh, this person this. I want to be like that. Oh, I'll do ayahuasca. This person had this experience. When I go into things, I don't want anybody's experience. I want my own experience. And I go with that intention all the time for the universe to make that happen. Develop faith in yourself that you are a master who is capable of co-creating with the universe all that is possible. Step 3. Experience a sacred communion with your soul as the doorway to your God self. Now that's a really, really big one to think about. Experience a sacred communion with your soul as the doorway to your God self. Like I say, there's 8th, 9th, and 10th chakra up here. And that energy is going to come down into you. And you will open that doorway to your God self. And it's going to be magical. Okay, make a list of the belief systems that limit you and reclaim your energy from them. Like, really be honest with yourself. What is your belief system? Why are you afraid? Why are you superstitious? Why won't you go to a ceremony? Why won't you go and sit in a place filled with negative people? Why do you gotta hide? Why you gotta pretend? Why you gotta hang out at yoga studios? Like what is it? Why can't you just love yourself? Why you gotta rely on people? Why do you have to be sick to get attention? Why do you gotta save all your money to get old and get sick and die? Like, why do you believe that? Because if that's what you believe, you will get sick and die. And all the money you've saved, you're going to spend, you're going to be broke, and you're going to have nothing. No joy, no love, no happiness, just misery your whole life, believing something really stupid. Make another list of what you know in the depths of your heart to be true about yourself. Like all amazing things, like, man, there's so many amazing things about everybody. But sometimes we never see that for ourselves unless somebody shares that, but then we will still push it away. Some people are beyond beautiful, amazing, but nobody ever really sees that, and they can't see it themselves either. Make a list of judgments you hold about yourself. I mean, I did that in the past. I didn't think I was good enough. And like I said, I went through all kinds of things, and getting stoned and drunk and going to Skid Row trying to get killed and everything because I didn't think I deserved to live. And I was my worst prisoner, worst punisher, worst judge, worst everything. Man, I judged myself harshly. And anybody that did bad things, I saw them better than me. I could never see the good in me, no matter what anybody told me. And the more harder I drank and got stoned and everything, and like I say, I couldn't shut off my abilities and that. And there were times when I did go to Skid Row hoping I would get killed. I would go in the bars, I would go in places, and I'd try to find somebody that would kill me. And like I say, I was my own worst nightmare. And this is where we got to look at all of this and lift ourselves because of the residential school, what was done to the natives for 500 years. Over and over and over, we were made to be afraid of our beliefs, of our culture, of everything. Like I was told by that preacher in residential school, no matter what I did as a heathen, I was going to burn in hell. He said, no matter what you learn and what you practice, anything on this earth, that God's going to let the devil come and take you one day and take you to hell and burn you. And I'm like, why? I'm just this little kid and this guy is screaming and I'm terrified. My mom's not there, my dad, my granddad, nobody is there to protect me, and this psychopath is putting this crap in my head. And I've had so many beautiful relatives and friends commit suicide because of that man. I've seen so many destructive things because of that. And I managed to survive and pull myself out of that. And I found the truth. And I found how I can love myself. And I found I can sit anywhere with anybody. And I can share knowledge and I can have experiences. And I know there's many, many beautiful things in creation. I try to share and help people understand that. Number 4 of this practice is threefold. Each morning upon rising, take some time in solitude to contemplate your state of being, honestly and without judgment. Like, don't judge things. Try, just look at it, write it down, go, oh, okay, this is here. Throughout the day, work regularly with energy of love, trust, faith, compassion, grace, and gratitude. Each evening, recognize and embrace in profound honor all that you have given yourself that day. Like everything that goes on in the day, we've given to ourselves. And we've manifested it for all kinds of things. It's sort of a really, really confusing one when it comes to God and how people perceive and think, because this is talking about all the lifetimes, all the challenges, and why we have created it and why we attract it. And like I say, depending on what kind of healing modality you're in with the New Age healing and practices, like I say, there's lots of different kinds of opinions. But that's where that judgment, when you can go past that and sit with yourself and love yourself, then you're going to heal and transform it. And that's what this is all about. Here now to get into the fifth dimension. And like I say, one day we're all going to, because this world's going to shift faster and faster and faster. And it's going to really, well, I hope that helped you in some way to understand things. Because even the power of prayer is very powerful. And sometimes we pray and we don't always get what we pray for right away. And in natives, we say, be very careful. Be really clear about what you want, because you will end up getting it. And it might not be what you thought it was. So this is where there's a lot of things you learn growing up as a native, and it just becomes natural to you. But to Christians and that, they go in the church and they're in there and the preacher says, oh, go to this part of the book. Oh, go here, go there. Do this, do that. Oh, we're going to say this prayer. It's like, he tells them everything. He doesn't tell them how to figure all of this out. And then they go home and they're afraid and they wait till next Sunday to go to the church because everywhere around is the devil and they're just afraid all the time. And they're always trying to see or find the devil. And it's like, you got to change that. And that's why I like these books. It gives you all kinds of understandings that'll change, shift, and open up your reality in so many ways. And that's where you pray, you ask, am I meant to do this? Because if you're really meant to, it's going to manifest really fast. And the right person and the right thing will come along and you'll go and have an experience. It's not to disprove anything, it's to go there in the unknown and go, wow, this is amazing. Okay, start on chapter 2, Heart of Lemuria. Part 1, Celestia. Blessings to all who have gathered here today. We are greeting you from the energy that is just outside the view of some, but within the heart of all. The love and the respect, honor, and divine grace, we join you today to discuss a topic that is the core of our philosophy in Telos. Our sister Aurelia has requested us to present to you an understanding of the heart of Lemuria and what these energies provide to you in the current time of space in which you find yourself. Much has been spoken about the energies of Lemuria, and much knowledge has been shared about the times past. Today, our time with you represents a journey into the purest Lemurian energy that exists on the surface of the earth today, the energy that fills and informs your heart. The heart of Lemuria can be described and illuminated many ways, inasmuch as you also have these same attributes within your consciousness. You'll resonate with the truth of this. Our brother Ahnahmar will speak to you of the energies of the heart and inspire and create passion for the creations that you intend. And beloved Adama will speak to you of the Christed energies of the heart. And like I say, they're going to try to help you understand something way more deeper. Try to get comfortable here. To begin, as is always the case in birthing a new truth or understanding, I will speak to you of the feminine energies of the heart. And this is where it talked about how certain energies go in the solar plex down into the earth, and then other energies go into the heart, into the universe. All sentient beings experience life within the framework of this great mother we call Earth. And in this framework, there is a rhythm of life. It expresses itself through the vibration of frequency that guides us. We are here, we are receptive to it. On the surface of the earth, each emphasis has been given to the qualities of the mind. The pure energy of the heart has been forgotten and replaced by an active extension of the intellect of all things. The mind has become an active force in your evolution rather than a passive structure and a tool that was originally intended. That's why the mind, like I say, it's holographic. And over thousands of years, they programmed our mind wrong, and we want to clean it up and program it right. The mind has become an active force in your evolution rather than a passive structure and tool that was originally intended. The mind's original purpose was to be a facility to serve a service to the heart and not the other way around. And this is where, like I say, that journey here and back is one of the biggest. Once you discover and really realize and go deep into your heart, you're going to be mind blown. Like, you go into ceremonies doing that, you're going to have experiences like you wouldn't believe. In your evolution, most of you have ignored at the promptings of the heart. You have lost your former abilities to recognize the heart is the greatest intelligence of the soul. The heart knows everything, will always offer the best and highest guidance, and will always direct you in your highest God or good. For a very long time, you have allowed your human mind to become of service to the ego instead of the heart. The human mind, controlled by the altered ego, has become overly cluttered with fear, judgments, and erroneous concepts, and together they run all your internal programs. And everything is just on fear. That's what it's been like. Everything is always about fear, even news, anything. Wherever you go, everybody is looking for the dark or the fear. This is why you abandoned your heart energy long ago and gave priority to the mind. You have created, lifetime after lifetime, a series of painful experiences, poverty, and misery. The human mind does not have the wisdom of the heart and is unable to offer you the wisdom of the mind of God. It is only the heart that holds the magic key. Originally, the mind was designed to be a receptor of information in service to the heart. It was the heart that knew exactly what to do with this information. And that's what science is really proving now. The heart knows way before the mind. They're proving that people know things 5 minutes even before the brain becomes aware of it. And there's more and more proof going to come out. And like I say, the heart is the library to everything that it was ever in creation. And it knows all the angelic realms. It knows the truth. It knows all the good things. And it doesn't lie. Always remember, the heart cannot lie. It will not. And it has its own mind. And like I say, trying to understand that and actually go there and discover and find all these things. The practice of the Heart of Lemuria begins with a return to the origins of your consciousness, and where passive mind surrenders to the active heart that trusts, has created the human conscious expression itself through an ego or mind that was informed directly by the logos of the heart of divine. The mind itself was a wondrous tool and was utilized to learn and analyze the myriad sensory inputs that the evolving human experience. It was the heart, however, that had the ability to choose the right actions and engage in it. Again, we say with much emphasis. So, like I say, it's really important to understand the heart. That's why I say it's like an interdimensional portal to all kinds of things, and it knows it doesn't deceive anything. But up here, you put the wrong things in, it's going to create lies, illusions, deceit, fear, anything you can think of. And after having hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, you got to clean all of that up before you can even go into the fifth dimension. It is the mind's role to learn and analyze. It is the heart's role to choose and do. Heart's connection while mind experiences. And this is where women, when they go into their heart and they know they have to have a baby, and they go into that unknown and they attract everything. They know they gotta like do all of these different things, whatever it is. Some women know they have to have 5 children. And no matter what goes on, they're gonna have those children because somewhere in the heart they agreed that they're going to be vessels to bring these souls into the world and give them bodies and experiences. And they're going to be blessed with all the things, the home, whatever they need to create to support that life and everything. And they're going to attract it all. And they go in their heart as young, and they know this. They'll even say sometimes when they're young kids, these young girls, they will say, when I'm older, this is how many children I'm going to have. This is a kind of partner and everything. And one day in the future, you look and you're like, wow, everything they said is true. Because it is in the heart. It is the mind's role to learn and analyze. It's the heart's role to choose and do. The heart connects while the mind separates. It is not a judgment or the role of the mind, but rather the truth of its purpose. And that's why you got to question and look at everything. There's a reason for it all. And you have a road and a journey to follow. In order to analyze, one must differentiate. In order to learn, to acquire intellectual knowledge, one must observe one's reality at a time and qualify and quantify or qualify it. So you got to look at it from, either or, good or bad, right or wrong. You decide, right? The heart, however, holds a frequency that is open and receptive to all possibilities. It connects us to all that is and does not question or analyze that connection. The heart trusts. It takes in all that is available as continuous flow and beats to the rhythm of the life and joy and wonder. And from this trust, acceptance and compassion are born. To understand who you are, you must accept what we do. To understand what others are, we must accept what they do. When we truly understand others, how can we fail to love them as fully as they love themselves? How can we not trust them as completely as we trust ourselves? The heart holds a frequency that is open and receptive to all possibilities. We cannot emphasize this enough. The heart trusts. This frequency is inherent in each and every one of you, whether you choose to recognize it or not. It is not something that you need to learn. It is not something that you need to analyze in order to create it. It is not something that you need to clear out space for or open your heart wider for. It just is. It's like when I went into that first sweat lodge and that energy, there was something. And I was scared after the first round. I was freaked out because, like I say, I was abused when I was a young guy. And then being anywhere with men that, are naked, and it's like, and you're in this sweat lodge surrounded by men in the darkness. But I was in that fear, but there was something else. And I came out and I laid on the ground and they said round 2, round 3, round 4. And after the 4th round, I'm like, whoa, whatever this is, I got to figure this out. I got to know what this is, whatever this unknown is. And I had to sit in my fears, and I went through lots and lots of stuff. And I learned, and like I say, I discovered so many things to reiterate that what we hear most often here in Telos from you, the Lemurian brothers and sisters, is when will the veil lift? And people are always saying, when, you know? Like, you can look inside yourself and know. When will I see you? When will I be able to visit you in this physical reality in which we currently live? The answer is it will all happen when your heart is allowed to inform the vibrations of your surrendered mind. And that's where you allow your third eye, everything to open, your energies to match. Because if you're carrying negative energies, there's no fifth dimension person that can be around you because they're going to manifest your fears. And your fears and your superstitions and that. So they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to cause all kinds of chaos and things. So they wait till you clean it all up. To lift the veil, the mind must open to all possibilities to know the secrets that exist on the other side of the veil. One must experience through the vibration of the heart. One must simply listen to the frequency that exists within all of us throughout every instance of creation. You, my beloved sisters and brothers, are the veil. You will continue to be so until your mind surrenders to your heart, is allowed to inform you of your reality. So when you finally connect this to this and figure that journey out that you've been chasing everywhere all your life and you're exhausted from running all around doing that, it's going to give you all the answers. It's going to do a lot of magic. In Telos, our hearts are open to all possibilities. We teach other this truth every day. We evolve and understand this truth through the play with each other each and every day. We are each other's signposts that say stop and open to more possibilities. This is where I believe everything is possible. I've been that way. My granddad taught me. And I saw magic throughout all my life in all kinds of ways. And I'm like, how is that possible? But I know that universe and creator can do anything. On the surface, you carry the same heart frequency that we do. Your minds may tell you that this is not true, but your heart trusts. Trust is the core energy of the heart. It cannot be otherwise. You may feel that your heart has closed itself off from the vibration or that you cannot feel it in your life or in people who surround you. But this is not the truth. Your heart trusts. Soon as you're born, it activates that trust. When you're a baby and you lay there for the first, year of your life, you can't talk, you can't move, and that it just goes into that trust. And it manifests and gets the parents to create, feed, clean it, take care of it, every other thing, and it allows the body to teethe and grow and stretch. And it starts learning to walk and everything, and it goes into the unknown in absolute trust. It doesn't have the words, but eventually it learns it all. On the surface, you carry some heart frequencies that we do. Your minds may tell you that this is not true, but your heart trusts. Trust is the core energy of the heart. It cannot be otherwise. You may feel that your heart has closed itself off from the vibration that you cannot feel in your life or in people who surround you, but this is not true. The heart trusts. You each form your own boundary of trust. You form them with the trusts you adhere to. So there's some kind of belief that you create all your rules and everything you live by. In the families and communities and nations that you create on the surface, you do not need to deny your boundaries, for they are who you are in this moment. We are here to honor them, for in time, with respect, they will eventually transform their energies through contact with the heart vibration of trust. Your minds may not yet own the possibility of this, but your hearts were created in it. None of you can disown its physical forms because of its energy that keeps you incarnate. This is the energy that keeps you in this game of life that you chose with open and receptive hearts to participate in. Now it is time for you to meet with us on the playing field, so to speak. Engage with us in the exercise of trust. To begin our play, we must first choose an outward reality that pleases you. We ask each of you to create in your heart's eye the image of a field that is filled with every creation of earth that brings you joy. This can include trees, flowers, mountains, streams, birds, animals, nature, spirits, crystals, clouds, other humans. Create a field populated by all that you desire and share yourself with. Remember, the frequency of the heart is one of receptivity to all possibilities, so do not constrain yourself. This is where children go into that imagination and they go into this place and they just do all kinds of magical things. Now position yourself where you are most comfortable within this field and begin to observe all that is present around you. Don't observe, however, with the mind. Don't catalog the comments on what you see or hear around you through the mind. Listen instead to your heart. Listen for the vibration of the frequency of the heart that surrounds you in all beings that share the field with you. Recognize the touch of the other hearts as they reach out to yours. At first, you will hear, feel, and know a gentle energy that comforts and supports you. It cushions you and enables you or enfolds you in the warmth of peacefulness. There's quite often a humming noise that accompanies the energy. And there's times where I'm like, just like a boo. It's really, really interesting. This morning I was doing that a couple of times. I'm like, oh, I'm shifting in and out. That many of you hear with your physical ears. It is a joint energy of all the hearts in combination with the heart of the earth. It is an energy of trust and that informs the earth, you and us, and every being that resides here. So, like I say, it's something we're all in all the time. Hey, Elisa Hopper. Like, allow yourself to feel that shift in energy because you can when it starts humming. You're going to feel yourself like shift. And it's like, whoa, what was that? And you pay more and more attention to it. Don't fear it. Get excited and curious about it. Experience this energy in your physical existence as well as your multidimensional body. Is most important at this juncture in the planet's evolution that all experience be brought into the physical realm. You must ground this new reality into your cellular structure. It is not enough to know this in your higher selves, so to speak. It is imperative the DNA records this new identity in all of your various bodies. This is a goal that each of you set for yourself in this lifetime, and this is what we're trying to transmute all the negative for hundreds of thousands of years and becoming multidimensional. And we're healing thousands and thousands of things all the time. Now, as you float on and within this cushion of energy, begin to listen to the frequency of all the hearts that surround you. There is a tune that each play that is subtly distinct from the rest. As you begin to recognize the signature of each heart song, you can follow that song back to the heart from which it originates. Do this with the trust and tenderness that you will find only trust. You are rediscovering the language that you originally spoke. You are rediscovering a form of communication that connects you directly with all life around you. It will not take long this time to speak it again. The frequency is as close as your own heart. Simply call your heart and it will guide you. Stay in the field as long as you wish. Return to it as often as you wish until the cushion of your heart energy is familiar to you that you step out of it brings immediate recognition. So when you come out of it, you'll just go, oh, okay, and then you can go back in. Now let your mind begin to wander in the field. Let yourself surrender itself in trust to all possibilities. This may be a bit tricky at first as the mind will want to label and define what it sees. Your task now is to accept the mind and the structures of the mind and allow it to join you in the field. Allow it to play, but watch it as you would a child who is venturing out into the world and does not know yet what to expect. Remind it of your heart's frequency and receptivity to all possibilities. Invite your mind to play with possibilities, realities, and not just those which bring a sense of familiarity. So this is where you're going to open up and explore more things. This is where you start becoming more of a manifester of everything in your reality. Within this field is your connection to us. The field exists beyond the veil that can be created. Let your mind surrender and your heart choose. We will always be here to meet you with a welcoming heart. I'll leave you now and ask our beloved Ahnahmar to guide your journey. So part 2 here of this part. So Ahnahmar, I greet you all with the prospect of much enjoyment between us. Our decisions of the heart has brought you to a greater understanding of one aspect of the energies we refer to as the Heart of Lemuria. Whereas my sister Celestia held forth on the subject of receptivity in your heart, I now wish to speak to you in the relationship between the heart energy and the point of light we call creation. And that's where everything is light. It is through passion and intention that all is created in the world of ours. Energy and frequency gather in complementary networks. The grid of energetic magnetic energies called by many includes us, lattice energy, holds the structure of universal energy. It is through this grid that all beings present themselves to the universe. We communicate our intentions through the offer of our own heart energy, our passion to inform the scalar energies that hold the complementary frequencies. These scalar waves fill the void between the grid. And scalar waves you can get from a Rife machine or what's the other one? What's the one that Betty has? Biofeedback. And it takes this universal scalar energies and it can heal and do all kinds of stuff. This process of creation is then enjoined with the focus of the mind and ego so that the singular event may extend out from the totality of the whole. The extension then takes form in the physical plane and becomes a reality in human consciousness. Creation indeed takes place at the moment that your human consciousness first becomes aware of it. With each and every thought, the energies of the lattice and the scalar meet together, form a point of light that is then expanded. If you so desire, this cycle of heart to mind to heart is lightning fast, and much of the time you are not even aware of it. For many, it has become a case of the chicken and the egg, for there is confusion as to what starts the process, the heart or the mind. On the surface, much credence has been given to the mind as an instigator. And like I say, the heart has a spark and energy, and if you're doing the right things, things manifest very quickly. But I will say to you, the heart is always the creator. In the pool of wisdom, the heart resides the true inspirations for all that surrounds you. The heart language is subtler. However, it is often even timid, for you have not given much support to the heart frequency in your dimension. In truth, the high incidence of heart disease on your planet is a direct symptom of this, uh, as is most other diseases. And that's true. Like there's, like I say, these things that affect us because we don't want to. It's like people's like, oh, I knew it. Damn, I knew that. And their heart gave them the answer. Like I tell that story, me and Cindy in Penticton, she finds this chair and she says she's going to buy it. I'm like, okay. Gets a hold of the person. It's late at night and it's raining out and there's snow everywhere. And my guide say, put on your boots. I'm like, no, 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 no. We're just gonna go out, grab the chair and back. And my guy, the voice is telling me, put on your boots. I'm like, no. And so I put on my runners and we go down the road. We get to this place and there's a bank of snow. I jump out and I step and I sink right down into the snow and my feet gets wet and I hear inside me, see, put on your boots. But I didn't listen to my heart. I just thought, okay, I'll just do this. And boots are right there. All I had to do was put my feet in it, but instead I grabbed my shoes and not listened. And we do this lots of times. We don't listen. And people are like, oh yeah, I knew that. Like sometimes you'll talk to somebody like there was this person in the past that me and Cindy knew, and there was all this stuff going on, and I'm like, who knows this? Who knows the future? Who knows the answer here? And I'm like, there's three people. I know they all have the answer. They're like, no, we don't know anything. And then this thing went on, and then this guy says, I knew it all. And I says, I asked you a year ago. Who knows this? And then afterwards, this other person and this other person, they all knew this. And I could see this, and I knew the outcome. And I'm like, okay, which one of you know this? And I'm like, you guys all have this answer. But they went through all of this stuff, and I'm like, why didn't you just say you knew this instead of us doing all of this stuff? But sometimes people, they don't want to listen, they don't want to speak out, they don't want to trust, and they think there's something lying to them. But they have all the answers. That's what deja vu and all kinds of other things try to prove. But I will say to you that the heart is always the creator, the pool of wisdom that the heart is resides, the true inspirations for all that surrounds you. The heart language is subtle, however, it is often even timid, for you have not given much support to the heart's frequency in your dimension. In truth, the high incidence of heart disease on your planet is a direct symptom of this, as it is most other diseases. Like I say, we're always creating these things because we're not listening. To understand this process, this cycle of creation, we must recognize another aspect of the energy of the heart is active intention. We call this intention passion. In your dimension, most of the credit for inspiration has been given to the mind. The mind has been given leadership over all aspects of our consciousness. And that's where when people have passion, you can't stop them. And they know. And they will manifest and create businesses and be successful in everything. And the heart is that. In your world, this leadership of the mind over the heart has led to strife, both internal and external. The leadership of the mind leads to separation instead of unity. Yet the mind is a necessary tool in the process of creation. So then how do you reconcile this? To return to full consciousness as divine beings, it is imperative that you now begin to turn the leadership over to the heart and allow again the heart to rule that rather than the mind. And that's why, you got to open your heart. You want to keep it closed and protect it, stay there. But you have to open up your heart. I've had to go and open up my heart lots and lots of times after hurt and all kinds of crazy things. How does this happen in practical terms? First, you must develop a greater understanding of the nature of the mind. It exists in human consciousness as two minds, which we will term in the higher mind and the lower mind. The higher mind is a center for inspiration, for it is in touch directly with both your heart and your divine mind. The higher mind itself is a center of receptivity, storing all impressions and experience that you encounter in your evolution. The higher mind inevitably feels the pressure to grasp more than it's responsible for. It suffers a need to understand all that is presented to it and to find a resolution for it. Yet it cannot, for resolution is found only through the heart. And that's why I say you can tell your mind to shut up. At some point it's going to quiet and you're going to hear and know all kinds of things. The first step is to practice patience in the higher mind. Allow that part of your mind to relax, to observe, and to communicate to your heart its impressions and inspirations that it receives from the divine mind. Accept its process and do not try to turn off the mind. And so many practice instruct you to do. And that's where I'm like, I see and hear and know all kinds of things. I never try to shut it off. People say, oh, you got to go to nirvana. Oh, you got to go to nothing. I'm like, I don't do that. In order to achieve this, one must remove the emphasis for the mind to release its presumed responsibilities to do something. It is the heart energy that's responsible for this, although not by doing, but by being. And people are always trying to do. But you have to be being, right? You have to become that being. The lower mind has its own set of tools for your evolution. And that's where the three lower chakras, the humanness, because the higher mind is the universal soul, all kinds of other things, and wisdom and knowledge. And like I say, the three chakras are higher up here, three lower chakras are down here. And where's the interdimensional portal? Is the heart. It takes you up here or it takes you down here. And depending on how much you desire things in this life, you're in the three lower chakras. How much do you desire of the universe? Then you're up here. But people want everything on the earth, and they're always in their three lower chakras. The higher mind itself is a center of receptivity, storing all impressions and experience that you encounter in your evolution. The higher mind inevitably feels the pressure and grasps more than it is responsible for. It suffers the need to understand all that is presented to it and finds a resolution for it. Yet it cannot, for resolution is found only through the heart. The first step is to practice patience in the higher mind. Allow this part of your mind to relax, to observe, and to communicate to your heart its impressions and inspirations that it receives from the divine mind. Accept its process and do not try to turn off the mind, as many practices instruct you to do. In order to achieve this, one must remove the emphasis from the mind and release its presumed responsibilities and do something. It is the heart energy that's responsible for this, although not by doing but by being. The lower mind has its own set of tools for your evolution. It is the research center for your existence and is always focused and busy. While the higher mind is a bridge between the heart and the divine mind, the lower mind is the bridge between the heart and mental plane. The lower mind is the cataloger of all that you take in on the physical plane. The mind is not designed to surrender. It is a wondrous tool with great potential for processing and sharing with each other your human experience. That's why your story is important. That's why I said I let Cindy create her story. Yeah, Lisa Hooper. The heart is an interdimensional porthole, and the mind is like a holographic machine, like a TV or a radio. And yet again, the lower mind is never a place to choose from or to make decisions from. It is not your authority on how to do or be in your life. Your heart is your only authority. And when I go in my heart, I listen to it and I don't care what anybody says. Even Cindy, she gets really frustrated with me sometimes. I go in there and I will not budge. I go to ceremonies and that. I will not budge when I'm in this place because I know everything there is the truth. A simple and yet effective method for achieving this is to direct your awareness to concentrate on the sound of the beat of your heart. So when you meditate, listen to your heart. Like I always say, put your focus somewhere. Some people I tell them to think about focusing on the end of your nose or here, but you can listen to your heart. Divert your attention away from your voice and your lower mind and listen until you can feel and hear the beat of your heart throughout your entire body. If you need to, physically place your finger over the pulse point on your body until you can feel the rhythm. Then enter into the rhythmic flow until you feel at one with the center of your being. And when your eyes are closed, like I say, it's like you're inside your heart. Boom, 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 boom. Removing control from the mind allows the original frequency stored to your cells to remind you. That's why if you put your focus somewhere, your mind will stay focused there until it experiences something. Removing control from your mind allows the original frequency stored in the cells to remind you of who you are and let the energies of the heart, of other heart, remind you and why you are here. A return to the frequency of the heart reconnects you to the energy of the divine and can then guide you to remember who you are and return to the full consciousness. And like I say, it's a library of everything in creation. You have all become extremely proficient at pondering with the mind, and you have all perfected the art of intellectual evaluation and judgment. In doing so, however, you have permitted a gap in the energy to take place between yourselves and all that surrounds you. Now is a time to remember and relearn to think with the heart. This form of receptivity is connective, energetic, rhythmic, and infinitely more attentive and effective to the physical self. And this is where the heart can transform anything. It is within this physical self that you have chosen to experience and learn. You carry with you cellular templates, a lineage of all that you are, that it includes your Lemurian lineage. Your Lemurian self is stored in the energetic memories of your heart. Each of you has an energy template that is unique and yet part of the whole. The information you seek with your mind regarding the Lemurian heritage is stored in every cell. Yet many of you seek to exist in physical storehouses of energy and information about yourself. And like I say, we're emotional garbage dumps. It's where we want to be. You seek to leave your physical incarnation and ascend to another realm where travails the physicality will not assail you. Travails, Travails, of physicality will not assail you. Yet we say to you with all certainty that all you need to transcend is the separation that you feel residing within the physical body that you have ceased to love. Heart energy keeps you in an incarnation, so you keep reincarnating until you figure it out and you decide to become something different. You have only created a veil, as our beloved Celestia has stated, behind which you gave your authority away to the mind that is no longer open to all possibilities. That's why you got to believe in everything. When you were a child, you did. But at somewhere, you closed that door. By the time you were 9, 10, 14, or something like that, you shut it all. And then you started looking, well, how can I get a bike? How can I buy this? How can I have candy? Instead of just believing everything is possible and manifesting it. Choosing from the heart, living from the heart instead of the mind is a collective, connective action that restores the memory of love of being alive. It celebrates the wonder of the gift of physicality with guidance from the sentient heart, not the mind. It returns all of life to the doing that does not try to make things happen as the mind does, but instead allows you to be able and receptive to all that exists, including the passion that is your natural birthright. For this, my cherished sisters and brothers, is a true heart of the nature. It is the heart of all matter. Physical life and the solidness that has been created in your dimension is not devoid of light. It is not darker because it is denser than the dimension in which we reside. It is darker because you have lost your love for it. You have concluded that another place, another dimension is where you desire to be, and your passion has left this plane in which you exist. That's why I'm like, why are you trying to go somewhere else? If you can see the light here and live in it, you can do something amazing. Without this passion, this energy of the heart, you have lost the connection to your divine essence. And that's why you got to love the Earth Mother and yourself too. You have transferred authority to others to master whom you believe to be more evolved and more enlightened than you. That's why I'm like, why do you pray to the Dalai Lama? Why do you pray to all kinds of things? Dalai Lama is a human being. Why do you have all kinds of gurus and avatars all over Europe? Everybody's searching for gurus and avatars to worship, thinking that somewhere they're more special. I'm like, God made you special. That's like even natives, all the cultures all over the world is searching for something. And people think the Dalai Lama is going to save them. He's not going to save them. He's trying to save himself. You have transferred authority to others to master whom you believe to be more evolved and more enlightened than you. You have made us and Telos your gods, much as the ancient Romans and Greeks did. But we are not any different than you are. All that we are resides within the cells as well. The only difference is that we recognize it fully and love it unconditionally. We also share it with all of those surrounding us. We speak to each other from the heart, and we store the imprints of our heart with all experiences of ourselves for our lineage. We follow the practice of being that is different from those practices that many of you follow, which are primarily mind techniques. What we do is not based on meditation. That's why I say you don't have to meditate. You can pop in and out of this. Kids do it all the time. And once you understand it, it just turns on and off. You could call it allowing ourselves to contemplate rather than to meditate. We can reach with our practice very high levels of heightened awareness. What we practice is not based on visualization or imaginary techniques either, which still require mental effort. The place of emphasis on something you are not rather than something you are. For example, we contemplate the infinite aspect of our divinity in order to raise our vibration to a higher level and integrate those new truths we constantly discover about ourselves. We start by becoming silent enough to listen to our own heartbeat. We lighten the attention of our minds and let the mind talk to itself for a while. Then we allow our receptivity to expand to all that is around us. We don't tune out of the world around us, but instead tune in with all our senses by becoming one with the flow that is around us and within us. And this is what people don't do. It's like me, I feel everything around. When I'm meditating with a group of people, I allow myself to feel and know everything that's going on. People don't. People shut down. They pull all their energy and they just about suffocate and stop breathing. The heart has its own emotional intellect. It senses and records all that it impacts it. As it becomes entrained to the gentle energetic waves of nature, which the physical world around it, we know with complete consciousness that we have contacted the world with our own hearts. When you go to sleep, you surrender and you feel all things around you. Everything that goes on, you feel it while you're sleeping. And if anything goes on, you will pop awake real fast. You'll be in your body. But soon as you know everything is safe, you'll be out of your body again. And you'll go into surrender. And if you live in a neighborhood, you're aware of everything in that neighborhood. But anything strange goes on, bam, you're in your body. And it's fast, like lightning, boom. We allow the heart lessons that are around us in every moment to inform us. We store them in our cellular memory. We shift time for when the heart is tuned to the inherent frequency in the present moment and in the flow of all that is. Self, time, and space are united in oneness. That's where everything collapses into one. Lastly, we send our heart lessons out to the world around us, for in truth it is true act of creation. It is the true doing and being which informs all of our existence and yours. The inspiration and passion of the hearts are bonded to the inspiration and passions of the divine. The attention of the mind is then focused on it, for where awareness goes, so does the energy to sustain it. And finally, the creation is anchored into the cellular template of the physicalities wherein it takes form. The point of light that blossoms at the intersections of the soul touching soul, of heart energy touching heart energy, receives true expressions in the physical world. Follow this practice of heart and mind. Allow your being and your consciousness to connect with the heart of Lemuria once again. You will find yourself in a paradise that you are yearning for. We greet you, as always, with our hearts open and receptive. And I thought I might be able to finish this chapter, but well, let's see where I'm at here. If you guys are up to it, I'm going to do six pages as fast as I can read it, okay? It's already noon. So part 3, Adama. Blessing to all attendees today. I beckon you to the hall of great temple of knowledge in Telos, contained within the walls of the library or the Lemurian lineage, a storehouse of experiences in crystalline form. These crystals come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. Each has its own frequency in order to best represent and express the information that it holds. We invite you here so that you may recognize the truth of the vibration of this place. For it is the mirror for you. It is the duplicate of the temple that resided within your physical body and the crystalline cellular structures that you inhabit and maintain. Within your field of consciousness, I ask you in this moment to connect with the energies of the crystal grid of the planet. so that we may all be connected together, and as we continue our exploration of the heart of Lemuria. Today I wish to speak to you on the nature of forgiveness, which is the greatest truth that one can derive from the practice of the heart of Lemuria. Forgiveness is the nature of the Creator and the Divine. One of the key aspects of spiritual and emotional nourishment is forgiveness. And even deeper than that is the level of divinity that recognizes, state, and lives the truth that there is nothing to forgive. You cannot create this truth. You can only discover it. And that's the truth about forgiveness. Because once you understand the real truth, something just shifts and changes. But as long as you're in judgment, that never happens. I'll read that again. The one key aspect of spiritual and emotional nourishment is forgiveness, and even deeper than that is the level of divinity that recognizes, states, and lives the truth that there is nothing to forgive. Because everything has something to be learned. That's why once you really get to this point, you're going to realize that. And it's really, really hard to teach and help people understand this. You cannot create this truth. You can only discover it. You have an opportunity to now learn this truth for yourself, and the great Earth Mother has the opportunity to live this truth with all of us. Many of you have reached a place in your spiritual path where the traumas of the past experience have brought you to a juncture. This crossroads holds anger, grief, sorrow, shame on one side, joy, wisdom, love, creativity on the other side. And this is where we get stuck. Like I say, you get stuck in the past. Like I'm not stuck in a residential school and when I was on the streets and that. I can visit there, I can share stories, I can share all kinds of things from my life, but I'm not stuck there. I'm trying to focus on the future, and I'm trying to find the joy, the wisdom, the love, the creativity, and truth in everything. Because when I fully understand it, I don't have to do anything. It's all forgiven. So it's a real conundrum. Like I say, this is where things get really convoluted and crazy, and people get very confused by all of this. Shame is an illusion that there is something that okay, I'll start over again. Shame is the illusion that there is something that you can do or that someone else can do to you, which is wrong and for which there is no possibility for redemption or forgiveness. You have been taught this as a society and as a race. You have been taught this through most religious traditions and belief systems, and they want to find shame, even as a little child. Something there that just, like I say, you carry all your life and you hide and you stay afraid. Like Roman Catholics, little boys and girls. You got to go to confession. You go in there and you got to tell them a sin. And as a child, you haven't done anything wrong, but you got to start creating lies. And you got to lie that you did this and you did that so you can say your rosaries and confess so the Pope can give you permission to go to heaven and be connected to God. And all churches taught this to children, so we had to learn to lie and we became ashamed. It's like when my mom told me I was a little boy, I couldn't look at my own crotch. If I looked there, I was going to go blind or die. So whenever I went to pee and everything, I'd close my eyes and everything. I'd be just scared. And why? I should be able to look at my own body. But I was so ashamed because of what I was told and made to believe. And when I was a little boy and I was being abused and I was being made ashamed, like I went through bad experiences and I carried lots of shame. And it took me a long time to undo what was done. I had to deprogram myself and program in what was right. Like I said, there was a cousin of mine and his mother one day was over at his house sitting there and his son was playing and he took off his diapers and started, looking at himself and that. She freaked out and started screaming at him and he grabbed his mother and ran her out the door. Said, "You don't ever come in here and say that to my child. This is what you did to me and it messed me up." And that kid was traumatized. I freaked right out just screaming and crying because of that. Like I say, they're stupid things. Shame is the illusion that there is something that you can do or that someone else can do to you, which is wrong, for which there is no possibility of redemption or forgiveness. You have been taught this is a society, and as a race, you have been taught this through most religious traditions and belief systems. The truth is that in the past, events happened that you didn't have the wisdom at the time to understand. There are no victims in this dimension or in yours. We all choose to incarnate here and experience the full spectrum of the physical expression of the divine. We are all divine expressions of the Creator, spending eternity being conscious and experiencing. Our desire for experience has encompassed every facet of the Godhead. When we first incarnate as God beings and as creator gods, our experience was very close to that of the creator. In the beginning, as the veil between us and the creator was thin as possible, then the souls became interested in deviating and distancing themselves from the experience of being the creators, wanting a deeper experience of not being God, so they could gain a greater understanding what it is to be God. That's why we separated and went into this crazy low place we're in. From these experiences, we created great and greater amounts of unknowingness and greater amounts of confusion. Over a long period of time, this differentiation moved us to the realm in which we chose higher and higher levels of suffering, because that is where our individual soul path took us. Each individual soul has a greater soul path, which is the aspect of the Creator, which is the most interested in understanding, such as joy. The soul will choose to have all the experiences that are needed to understand this aspect. These experiences usually express themselves as a lack of the aspects as opposed to the experience of it. One who wishes to understand the importance and purpose of joy chooses incarnation to which they have a joyless experience. That's really powerful how we do that. And we're master geniuses and we think we're idiots. All of these experiences that we have chosen have become a part of our cellular memory. They become patterns in our genetic information. Together, our genetic lineage become a part of the fabric of the earth's heart and soul. For her evolution, her ascensions have also been a part of your journey from incarnation to incarnation. Throughout all the civilizations of earth, we have traveled this path. We have experienced cataclysms and redemptions. We have created density and physicality and witnessed miracles. We have walked this earth as masters of light and love and as slaves of violent emotions. We have all been healers and we have all been murderers. It is a time to forgive ourselves for all that we have done and all that has been done in our name. Now is a time to connect again to pure frequency of your heart, the heart of Lemuria, the heart of divine. For within this frequency lies the essence of forgiveness, and within the essence of forgiveness lies the truth of your divine essence. We have witnessed so many of you crying out that you are still trapped behind the veil, that you cannot be in touch with your family, friends on the other side of the veil. You complain that you cannot gather us and share in our lifestyle and community, which seems to you to include much more ease and grace than the one you are currently part of. But I will say to you again that the only veil that exists is the one you have created, the veil that you still experience in the veil of your fear, your erroneous belief systems, and your sadness. It is not the traumas that you have suffered over the course of your evolution that cause you your pain today. It is your willingness to touch your pain. It is your unwillingness to experience the fears and sadness and nourish your pain with forgiveness. The act of forging the self as a beacon that brings you back to pure frequency of heart of Lemuria rather than comforting your pain. You long for things to be otherwise. You turn from your pain rather than towards it. Everybody runs away. Everybody blisses out and does stuff instead of sitting in and saying, I want to clean this up. How many more years am I going to do this to myself? Why am I going to torment myself? Why am I going to harm myself? Why am I going to deprive myself of this? Give yourself permission to feel again and rediscover the heart vibration where you are now. Behind your veil, for most of you, your fear often feels like they will cause your heart to stop or will make it beat faster. The sorrows and sadness you hold within cause the heart to feel as if it were breaking. In every physical term, offer to God your broken heart, if you may, and allow the divine within your sacred heart to bring the healing. That's why I say make your heart a sacred temple with every good thing. In truth, it is your mind that is taking you a little deeper into the reservoirs of emotion that you have encountered throughout your lifetimes. But the mind alone cannot accomplish that type of healing. The heart frequency is what guides you through this seemingly minefield and nourishes us with love of the universe. Each time you give permission for this to happen, you are connecting to your cellular memory again. You can move the fear or the sadness out of your physical structure, out of your DNA genetic lineage for all time and space. You can start feeling your body in ways that you have not felt before. It can be a general feeling or more connection to the body. The body becomes more graceful, faster or less painful. It can manifest as a release in a part of the body, such as an organ or muscle or skeletal system. The frequency of forgiveness is the frequency of the heart. Tapping into the heart allows you to inform the mind and the body of this gift, not just for this lifetime, but for all lifetimes as well. Many have written that the soul is located in the great central cell of the pineal gland. This is not exact. In truth, the body lies within the soul. Like I say, we're just wearing a spacesuit. And that spacesuit is the energetic fields and the chakras and every other thing. What we call the aura is the lowest vibration of the soul. The soul extends outwards around the body. Our soul creates the energy that motivates the body to move on. The soul defines our level of health and our sickness. On Sunday, I say your auric field and your etheric. Your etheric is your divine, your 8th, 9th, 10th, and higher. Your aura is like an eggshell you live within, and your heart, your chakras, and then there's another chakra on the outside here that connects to all kinds of other things. It is through the heart frequency that we connect with our soul and with the soul of divine, which we are all a part. The basic tonic for all the melodies of the heart, all disconnections from divine frequency and rhythms of your physical life is forgiven. And when you really understand that, it's going to transform. It's going to blow your mind apart. And we're all going into this so we can get into the 5th dimension. If we don't go there and understand the truth in this, we can't be a part of the 5th dimension. Because the Earth Mother wants that, and you have to connect with her creation and everything else and all your bodies. There's 5 bodies. There's all kinds of things to heal. The most powerful way to nourish each other is to listen to another person's truth and accept it. Like when I tell things, people say, oh, he's a liar. Oh, he wants pity. Oh, he's trying to make you feel sorry for him. No, I'm not. I have no desire to do that. The next level is hearing another person's truth, accepting them for what it is, and loving them for it. The next level is hearing another's truth, accepting them and loving them in spite of it. This is the essence of forgiveness, that truthful, there is nothing to forgive. And I use my stories to try to help you to realize you can change and do the same thing. If I could do everything I've done in my life, you guys can do that and even more. You guys can be Jesus, Buddha, masters, teachers, whatever it is. The heart that beats in your body is the same as the heart of Lemuria. Listen to it and treasure it. You're not incomplete and you are not incapable of becoming this heart with your entire being and of vibrating this frequency throughout your entire beingness. When you become this, there will be no other initiation or purification that will be necessary before you can allow through yourself through this veil. All that you need, all that you have ever needed lies within you. It is only your awareness of it that must shift, not through the mind, but through the heart, that will mirror this frequency to the world around you. Your awareness has been focused until now on the veil of duality, which was created by nature of the mind and not the heart. The mind awareness will always seek to qualify and differentiate to judge one against the other. It will see anger and distrust because it also sees love and calm. It will see arrogance and greed, but it also sees mercy and generosity. The heart, however, is aware only of unity, which is the production of unconditional love and forgiveness. Forgiveness is what allows you to stop eluding the pain that has been there for so long. The light of awareness will enter into those parts of your soul that have long been regulated to the shadows. You will no longer be able to deny yourself entry into the heart of Lemuria that exists around you without the veil at all times. And what will it be like to awaken free of all the veils, free of judgment and remorse, free of fear and sadness, free of desire of everything and anything to be different, free of the feelings of shame and unworthiness, free of the illusion that you are not God? We're all God. It will be like your heart has burst into a realm of infinite possibilities and infinite joy. You will discover that everything that you have ever desired has been there all along, and the world around you will hold the same frequency, and we will be there to greet you. May the love and the divine show itself in each of you in the vibration of your heart. And may the heart of Lemuria shine on the earth through all dimensions of time and space. This is our greatest wish for you today. We thank each of you for entertaining this possibility, for joining with us in love and unity. Until we speak again, I am your friend Adama. And this is where you got to believe everything is possible, totally beyond anything. So tomorrow in chapter 3 is assignments by Adama and Ariella. And so we'll go into that. And it's not very long, so I should go through that one quite easy. And then it's the dark night of the heart on chapter 4 we'll go into. So that should be really, really deep. I could say these are steps, and it's how the fifth dimension season is trying to help us to realize and do all of this. I hope this is all making sense and really, really helping you all. Trying to find ways to get that in your mind. I'm trying to share and do things.